What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we just got some more Fiendsmith support. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell there so you can become part of our notification squad, and definitely check the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out these awesome new cards. So let's rock with the new Fiendsmith support. I absolutely love the artwork of these new cards, and it's amazing that we finally have a Link 3 for Fiendsmith, because we previously did have a Link 1 and Link 2, but these cards are actually amazing, and I'm kind of surprised with the success of Fiendsmith that we're getting so much more support, and they're actually really good cards. So let's go ahead and check out and see what these cards actually do. The hottest hits of Hades won't stop coming. I absolutely love these cards. First off, the new main deck monster, perfect. Absolutely perfect. The new Link 3, really cool because he's actually doing the Dojo pose, which is hilarious. I love that about this card. I love that he's like pointing like Jotaro, which is just really cool. But let's go ahead and check out and see what these cards actually do. So for the first card, we have Lacrima, the Scarlet Sorrow, as a level 4 Light Fiend effect monster with 1200 attack and 1200 defense. And this card is always treated as a Fiendsmith card. And you can only use the first and second of this card's effects once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send a Fiendsmith card from your deck to the graveyard except another copy of Lacrima, meaning you're going to instantly be able to send your copy of the Fiendsmith from your deck to the graveyard, which is the main purpose of this card, basically being an archetype Armageddon Knight to help you get the Fiendsmith into the graveyard, which is actually really nice because it's going to give you more utility to be able to get the Fiendsmith out. The second effect on this card is during your opponent's turn. If this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, you can target a Fiendsmith Link monster in your graveyard, shuffle this card into the deck, and if you do, special summon that monster, which is a pretty good effect and probably meant to bring back the Link 3 back to your side of the field, which is a pretty cool ability just to be able to bring that back, or even the Link 2 back to your side of the field. I really like this effect, that it basically just lets you reborn one of your Link monsters back from the graveyard, which is really helpful for this particular archetype. And it's nice to see this deck actually get flushed out and not just be such an engine, but actually be its own archetype. So that's a pretty good card overall. I feel like it's going to be really interesting to be able to use if you try and build a more pure Fiendsmith deck, to be able to just summon this card out, send the Fiendsmith from your deck to the graveyard, and just basically start going into your plays, especially since we have a Link 1 in the archetype, so we can link this card away, our copy of Lacrima to the graveyard away, and then once we do, we can make the Link 1, which is pretty neat. So let's go ahead and check out the Link 3. This card is a Link 3 Light Fiend Link effect monster that is a 1800 attack point monster with a bottom left, bottom right, and up arrow. And this card is 2+ materials, including a Light Fiend monster, meaning it's not completely generic. You do have to use a Light Fiend to be able to make this card, which is pretty cool to be able to lock it into its own kind of archetype. And this card has two really good effects. It has the ability that once per turn, quick effect, you can target a non-Link Light monster that's a Fiend monster in your grave and special summon it. And if you do, equip this card that you control to it as an equip spell with these effects. And it gives it both of these really cool abilities, that the equipped monster gains attack equal to its total Link ratings of the Link monsters equipped to it times 600, and if the equipped monster attacks a defense ocean monster, inflict piercing damage to your opponent. That's pretty good right off the bat, because this lets you just bring back a non-Link Light Fiend from your grave to your side of the field. Just equip this card to it. It gives it an 1800 attack point boost base. If it doesn't have the Link 2 and the Link 1 equipped to it, it will give it an 1800 attack point boost base, and then it gives it piercing damage as well. This card's actually really balanced and really fair in my opinion, but it can be a little bit scary, which is kind of neat, because we do have the big fusion for Fiendsmith that this card can technically bring back and equip itself to it, which will give it 3 negates and an 1800 attack point boost and do piercing damage, and that's just with this particular card. And that does take a little bit of setup, because you're going to have to basically climb into this card and have your other Fiendsmith card in the graveyard and then equip it to this, or bring this card out and then bring it out. Like, it's going to take a little bit of setup to be able to do that, and it will be worth it if you do that. But the Link 3 is actually pretty nice to be able to go in for your plays, and it's very easy to climb into this card as well with the deck. So overall, really good support. I feel like this is a great step for Fiendsmith. The engine is already insane. But I feel like they're going to hit cards around this, like Beatrice and stuff like that, moving forward, to make the Fiendsmith more of a deck and less of an engine, which is really nice to be able to see, because I love the artwork of these cards, especially the new main deck monster. That card is fire. This archetype is really cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing what other Fiendsmith support we're actually going to be getting, because Fiendsmith is actually just amazing, and I love the actual archetype because it's based around Devil May Cry, which is a really amazing game if you guys have never played it. But again, I feel like the support is really nice. It's not really broken per se, because this is an Armageddon Knight that's just basically going to help you get your Fiendsmith into graveyard with its first effect. It counting as a Fiendsmith means you can grab it easy, and this card also just bringing back one of your Fiendsmith Link monsters is going to help out a lot to help you Link climb overall, which is really nice. And I like that this card just shuffles itself into the deck so you can use it again later. It's not banished. You actually have to go back into the deck and grab it again, or hard draw into this card to get another Foolish Burial, which is very fair. But something else that you might notice as well about Lacrima is this card is actually a level 4, and your Fiendsmith is a level 6, meaning you technically could go in for Chaos Angel. It would just be light monsters that you use to go in for your copy of Chaos Angel, but it is an option since both of them are basically light and dark monsters, being both light monsters to step into a copy of Chaos Angel. It would only get one effect, but it would still be pretty interesting to be able to do, and it would kind of fit in with this archetype as well because it is a theme. But I feel like overall these cards are great for the archetype. I feel like Lacrima is really nice to be an Armageddon Knight, and this card giving an 1800 boost base is really insane. But if you do equip the Link 2 and the Link 1 to it, it's going to give it an additional 1800, which would be 36 on top of that monster with piercing damage, and that's pretty insane. If you do that on the big fusion, the one with the scythe, it's going to boost it up by a lot of attack points and give it multiple negates, which again, it's not super big of a deal, I think, yet. It could be crazy in the future, but overall, good support. Also, we do have more lore for this archetype, which is really cool. I love the lore of this archetype, and I really like that it is kind of loosely based on Devil May Cry, and it does make me think a lot of Axel with the engraver from Kingdom Hearts, which is actually one of my favorite characters. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Definitely tell me what you think of this new support down in the comments down below. I feel like it's really nice to finally see more Fiendsmith support. Again, it is a broken archetype, but maybe moving forward, it'll get some balanced support to make it an actual deck instead of just being kind of sort of an engine. Because I feel like once we hit some of the cards around Fiendsmith, like Beatrice, maybe even hitting cards like DDD, High King, Wave Caesar, you might make this a little bit more balanced where it's not so insane to be able to play. You can even hit Closed Goddess of the Moon Goddess, or whatever her name is, the Link 2 Light Fiend, so it's not splashable in anything, and then it's basically just a Light Fiend engine, and you can turn it into an actual archetype, which would be really nice. I would like to actually see this turn into an archetype, and it would be really fun to be able to play overall, because Fiendsmith has some of the best artwork in the entire game. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely tell me what you think of this new Fiendsmith support. Again, really powerful, but I feel like this wave is actually balanced. And we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys!